Welcome everybody. I'm Angela Montoya. I am here with Melanie Schubert. Melanie's looking like a bitchin' rock star from the 90s, baby. She's ready to mosh. She's ready to rock. Melanie, how are you today?
Oh, it was an interesting week.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm good.
good. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are
Um,
you?
yeah. I mean, I'm fine. I'm good. Just dealing, Melanie, I'm just dealing with the hardships of a computer that
I
isn't working, and
know.
it's throwing me off, Mel. It's throwing me off, but I shall overcome. I shall keep going, or call somebody.
I think you need
Um,
to call somebody. It's your
yeah,
livelihood. Wait, so it's worse than yesterday?
like my Wi-Fi just randomly just cuts off.
It's still doing it out of the blue.
Yeah, and
That's weird.
so which is fine, but the thing is, I know I'm getting like copy edits soon. And when you get those, it's
Yeah.
all done on a program that's like online. And it's like stressful enough as it is because for some reason, like when I get like a new like system to edit things
Yeah.
in, like I get very frazzled.
Oh yeah. No, I would.
So I get frazzled easily. I'm realizing.
I I want to say, do we get frazzled easily, or are we like doing like the wildest things with a brain designed to like, collect nuts and like start fires with sticks, you know what I'm saying? Humans
That's
are like
about where my
evolved.
brain should be.
Sometimes I just like to remind myself humans are animals too. The other animals were like, fuck this shit. We're gonna just live in the forest. We're gonna like, maybe they could have evolved and they were like, nah, fuck that. Let's just eat our fucking nuts and store up and hibernate in winter. It sounds pretty.
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of wish. I wish I was like, I wish I was one of my dogs. I wish I was Smokey. This dude, this motherfucker has his own bean bag. He doesn't have to worry except when he's hungry, he feels like I need to eat and get a snack, you know?
Yeah.
But it comes to him. Like he doesn't have to fight for nothing. He like, okay, at 7:30, if I stare at everybody long enough, they're gonna feed me.
I would agree with you, but I would never want to be Smokey because poor thing, look at how his mohawk's been cut. And then there's that cat
Yeah.
that torments him, although that seems to simultaneously be his greatest fear and his biggest joy, feuding with that
True.
cat.
True.
Before I forget, in my
Okay. Yeah.
bouncing brain, so what, is TikTok banned again? What the fuck?
So it was only like a temporary delay because we had a different administration at the time, and so it was delayed and basically given to the next administration as their problem um, to sell it to an American company. But I think I think people are starting to realize most Americans could give not most. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but many of us could give two shits because we live in a global we live in a world with
Yeah.
other places. And I think there's a whole it's just a big mess. So anyway,
You mean they couldn't
it
give a shit about like why should America own it? You mean,
yes.
yeah, that's what I figured.
Because they don't want it to be owned. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows this, right? Like American, whoever, I'm assuming it's just politics.
Yeah.
They do not want it to be in other hands. They call it because it's a security problem. But really, let's break it down. It's a financial problem. Like they want the money,
It's
is what I'm
wild.
assuming is what's happening. So they want to sell it to an American company, probably so we can so they can tax it and do all the things. So, I don't know. I'm just assuming at this point.
Fucking wild.
I just blame politicians on everything at this point.
I think it's a fair thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So the ban got pushed back until
Balls.
whatever the date is coming. And nothing has been sold that I know of. Of course, how would I know? But again, I think also this administration is just going to push it back again.
Oh, I see.
But who the hell knows? You can't. I trust nobody. I
That's
trust in
it,
that
eh?
thing. Yeah.
That's it. They're gonna dangle the threat of it just to keep everybody like afraid. Because when people
Yeah.
are afraid, they're easy to manipulate.
Dude, it felt so violating. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like when TikTok did get banned, and it was
Yeah.
this big thing because for many Americans, it was taking away our free speech
Yeah.
because TikTok is this place where you can say just about everything and you can post the truth about what's happening in the world, what's happening in your community. It is out there. And so to have that like taken,
Mm.
and we would get like that day before it got taken, like we got messages saying basically like I can't remember what it was at this point, but basically the TikTok CEO was kind of thanking Trump, like had his
I
name
remember, yeah.
in the app saying basically he'll fix this, or because of him you're gonna keep this going. And so like they took it just for like a few freaking hours just to let us know that
We're
they
in
had this
control.
power.
100%.
Yeah.
I saw the message and I was just straight away I was just like okay then. Like what a petty attempt to like garner favor. You like or
Yeah.
be like I've heard people unironically call him Daddy Trump. Like unironically, they're like Daddy Trump's gonna save the day. I'm like, no, mate. Like Daddy Trump
Yeah.
is like a figment of your imagination. Like,
Yeah. I honestly, we talk about like being delusional to become an author, but there's a different sort of delusion when
right.
you place your faith in um, a human that is really terrible and disgusting. So,
That's it, eh? That's it.
yeah.
Mental gymnastics people are doing to convince
Yeah.
themselves that he's not. I'm like, mate, read the writing on the wall. Like,
Yeah. So it's interesting. It's
wild.
all very interesting. It's like watching all the things in play. But again, I think the TikTok ban, the first one, was like
Yeah.
such a slap in the face. It was
I'm not
so
surprised. It
demoralizing.
does feel vi like a violation because it's like, imagine you just went on Google and you just couldn't search anymore. Like
Yeah.
that, like it's just an app on the internet. Like there shouldn't be a way to like restrict that from an adult human in a free country,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
That's the
That's
thing, right?
exactly
It's
it.
and like can we just talk about the fact if they're going to use all these resources to like restrict things or whatever, could they maybe like fucking think to like spare some of those millions and billions to like I don't know, intercept child trafficking or like
Yes.
there's so much fucking shit in this world and it's like what about turning some of your attention to that, you know? And putting some of your, like, let the TikTok people have their fucking TikTok and just leave, like, leave it alone. It's just, it's there, it's doing its thing. You don't have to put it on your phone. You don't have to have it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's it's obviously such a, like, such a control.
Yes, yeah, and it is. I think for many, and obviously, again, I cannot speak for every American,
Mm.
but for many of us, like that was like the thing we were so proud of, that we have freedom of speech, that we have access to say what we feel and explore that, and um, especially I think people that voted for Trump. Like that's something that they claim is really important to them, which is our constitutional right to have free speech. Um, but they only mean it for
Only
themselves.
when
They
it
don't mean it
applies
for
to
everybody
them.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
Bad.
I don't know. We'll see how this ban situation goes. But again, at this point, like I'm just out here like again
Yeah.
continuing on doing the work in my own
That's all you
life, my
can do.
community, and that's all you can do. And yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It's like so gross at the end of
It
the
is
day.
gross. Well, hopefully it doesn't get banned because yeah, we need everyone's voices and yeah, I didn't hear that that was happening again. But yeah, of course, I only listened to half the thing in the start. I didn't realize that that was a temporary thing. So,
Yeah, we shall
fingers
see. We shall
crossed, fingers
see.
crossed. How have you been
Yeah.
otherwise?
Good. Today I finished up my Christmas anthology piece. I need to go back and like tweak some things, like some name changes, because I was like, oh, I don't know.
Do you want to talk about that? I'm so curious.
Well, okay, so the story, like the love interest is an abominable snow monster,
Mm.
okay? And so at first I was like, well, okay, I looked up like famous abominable snow monsters. Turns out there's not many. Okay, there's not many. But there was like a Looney Tunes version
Mm.
that his name was Hugo for some
Oh.
reason. And so I thought, okay, that's cute. Maybe I'll use that. But then I was like, oh, that doesn't really sound like very Christmassy or like snowy, like Hugo, you know? And so I was like, okay, let me look up like let's look snowy. And there was like all these I don't remember like obviously frosty, but we're not doing frosty. But like those kind of things where it was just like it didn't feel right.
Mm.
And then I was like, okay, maybe like something in Spanish or something, but nothing was clicking. And then so I was like, oh, like Nevada, which is a state here,
Yeah.
but Sierra Nevada, it just like means like covered in snow, Nevada. And I was like, oh, that's like a cool name. But then I'm like, but then I'm getting stuck on the name because I'm like, but that's just the state.
I
Like,
like
I don't,
that.
okay,
And it could be
okay.
Nev for sure.
Oh, that's sexy.
Mm.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that
Nev.
was the crisis I was going through today.
Nev, full name Nevada, but you can use
Ooh,
the Nev as the kind of like, you know, the
yeah. When
general,
she's
in text, like Nev pushes me up against the ice block, you know?
yes, yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the permission to use that name. I needed it.
Nev hits a lot of things, especially it's poetic because it means covered in snow, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I'm just laughing because the story, like the lore I created is so stupid and I love it. It's so dumb. I can't wait for you to read it and be like, this bitch is ridiculous.
You know I need it, and you know
Yeah.
that I'm so here for the ridiculous lore. Like that's my bread and butter right now. Like that's I've been loving watching I've been catching up on old horror flicks,
Oh, yes.
like really really old ones. So I watched The Blob last week, and honestly, I loved it.
God, it's been so many years since I've watched it, but like it's literally just a blob that
Yeah.
like sucks people up kind of a thing. Like he
Yeah, it
just
sucks
moves
people
slowly.
in. I had a reel up. You just reminded me to post my reel about it, which has the like the old trailer.
Oh, cool.
So the trailer gives you a lot, but it was so funny because it's like the teenagers are like look like they're in their fucking mid-30s. They're like the teenagers like trying to solve this thing. But I have to say, like, it was still good storytelling. Like, I was still there. I was still like, they still created suspense, even with like the limited. I love this old ass movies, the limited camera angles. There's like one angle. You know, now we're like, we zoom in, we see the pores on her nose, you know,
Yes, yes,
and then they have to airbrush it with, K-drama realness. But
yes.
it was this one angle, and you just experience everything from that. But yeah, I loved it. So that, and then you've given me a good rec, the killer
Uh-huh.
clowns in outer space.
Yep, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I know many people cannot do clowns,
Yeah,
and these clowns, honestly, like they'll do you in
really.
because they're not they're scary, but they're also very clownish. But like the for me when
Yeah.
I watched this whenever I was first like when I was a young laddie.
Lassie.
Okay, thank you.
You can be
When
a
I was
laddie if you
that,
want, though.
okay, thanks. Yeah, whenever I was that and watched it, this scared the shit out of me because I thought, oh
Yeah.
shit, like these clowns are coming, like these are real clowns and they're from outer space.
I mean, that's the keeper right there. Like, I had questions immediately. Again, obviously the long title really appealed to me. We've learnt that I love a long title that tells you what
You
the movie's
do.
about. Um, my immediate question was, did they come from outer space as clowns? Or did they come to Earth as aliens and they saw a clown and they're like, oh, that must be what humans look like? Do you have an answer for that?
I believe they're just clowns from outer space because
Oh.
their like spaceship is like a circus tent from what I remember. Yeah.
I'm so ready for this one. I just want to
Oh
watch The
yeah.
Blob 2 uh, first because there's a couple of them.
Well, there's a
Yeah.
there's a blob too.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's Beware the Blob #2, and
Oh,
there might even be a third one, but I don't know, maybe I'll have to put that on hold to watch yours because now it's sounding more and more interesting. And yeah, I
I
could
don't
just
know. The blob too. What is gonna happen?
what's going to happen? I think what's going to happen is we're going to get a bit more special effects because in the first one, it's literally like this ball of slime, and they do what they can with it. So yeah, I'm curious to see how #2 will hold up. So
Is it
stand
in black and white?
by. No, it's not in black and white. Which makes me
Okay.
wonder, is there one? No, no, I think we saw the first original one and then there's a bunch of remakes. But it felt fitting because, of course, my story, Sentient Slime, about Einstein's stolen brain, I was like, I can't believe like I wrote that without having watched like a historic blob monster movie. So
Yes.
felt right, felt like in the right genre. And yeah,
Mhm.
there's this kind of like, I think I've realized I love horror that's a bit ridiculous as well. Like I like to get a little bit of the thrill, but I don't genuinely want to feel scared. I'm never going to be like a Texas Chainsaw Massacres girly. Like I don't want to see
Yeah.
get chopped up like that in quite that way.
Yeah.
Um,
You're not a slasher girly.
I'm not a slasher. Oh, I could
Oh.
be if the tone is
Okay.
right, but I think I
Yeah.
don't want to feel I don't want to feel heavy when I watch it, as crazy as that sounds. I don't want to feel like
Yes.
sad and afraid. I want to feel
Yes.
like, oh lol, that alien just sucked off her head. You know what I mean?
I totally, yes. You don't want to feel like it's too grounded in reality.
That's it. You don't want
Yes.
to be afraid to walk out of your door, but I don't mind when there's like, the blob just ate this person and it's like, haha.
Yes. Yes.
Like
Yes. Yes.
the
Yes.
suspense of it was scary. They set up the suspense like still quite well, but when it's actually happening, you're not like, oh my God, save them. You're like,
Yes. Get him, Blob. Get him.
yeah, especially because horror seems to have this trend where like it's it's like it's there to satisfy our need for justice almost, which makes sense why even when I first wrote Severed Cape, in the end, I wound up writing something where you are vengeful. You're like people who are
Yes.
getting what they deserve. And that was kind of my first dabbling in it without realizing. As I watch more and more, I realize a lot of times it's kind of like the people who really suffer, they get something what's coming to them. Although it doesn't play fair either, because you definitely have kind of like the bratty kid who gets like trapped in time forever. I've been watching Creeped Out on Netflix, and there's some really like horror. It also doesn't always let off the hero scot-free. Sometimes the hero is fucked.
Hmm. Yes. 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 So yeah, I love that. Like where you're getting, it's like the final girl, where she like goes through hell, but she makes it out and she's better for it. She's stronger and braver
Yeah, sometimes.
sometimes.
Sometimes they turn around and you like realize that they're trapped in the zombie world and they don't know it yet or something.
Ah, yes.
But the
It's like
ones
a good, terrible twist.
it is, eh? But the ones who really suffer on screen tend to have it coming to them, is what I'm seeing so far.
That's good. Let them suffer.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm here
Are
for all
you
the rap.
writing as well this week or just like taking it in?
Honestly, I wanted so badly to finish my revision for Swamp Princess and just have it done and sent to Sandra this week, but I'm a little bit slower. Um, I think by next week though. I don't think I gave her a specific date. I just said like start of April, so next week is still the start of April.
Yes. Yes. We're going to go with that. We're taking it.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's feeling good. Like It's as it what you know when you like read something you're like that was fine how it is, but then you can like rearrange it the words a better way.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm maybe lingering longer than I should be on certain I'm like getting trapped on certain paragraphs and like spending an hour on them. Otherwise I would have been done by now. But also because she didn't put the deadline on me, it's hard to be like, well, I'll just skim over this paragraph. You kind of still want to send it to its very best form, but no, I'm trying to
Yeah.
hustle a little bit more. But yeah, feeling pretty good about it. It seems to be one of the reasons I think I started watching all this horror is just to make sure that like what I'm writing fits, that like it belongs
Yeah.
in this world, that I was so worried about not being scary enough or being too scary. You're just not sure. So the more I
Yeah.
watch, the more I'm like, no, no, like my instinct is bang on. Like there's a reason I've been drawn to writing this because, yeah, it does tend to come natural to me to think of like the grossest, spookiest. It's just like letting my intrusive thoughts onto the page, basically, you know?
You are honestly like, because you're so like bubbly, but the words you write when you're in that zone are so like nasty and so like vile, and it's so good. It's just like gross.
The brain
Like
one is
oh my
gross.
gosh, it's so gross, but it's perfect. And so like I could totally see you just like leaning into, especially I think middle grade would be really, really fun to
For
lean
the
into.
grossness. Yeah.
Yes. And the
I,
creepiness, and they can handle it.
yeah, like
Um,
I just wrote a line. She was walking down the road. And then again, like it's kind of letting some of those intrusive thoughts just onto the page. And I was like, and there's a dead rotting wombat with maggots in it. Like in a regular book, I'd never write that. But
yeah.
in horror, I was like, oh, that intrusive thought is perfect for this scene. Like
Yes.
just
Yeah.
that's literally what like if you're thinking like in the grand scheme of things at Halloween when kids are reading your book and they're like, yeah, I want the rotting wombat with maggots cupcake. You know what I mean? Like that's the
Yes.
Halloween vibe. You want that kind of like gross like there's like maggots candy and stuff for Halloween, you know, and it's gross and
Yeah.
icky, but at that time of year, that's what's going.
Hell yeah. Are you, because it's interesting. I don't know if I say interesting. I feel like I say it's interesting so many times. But anyways, it's very interesting because I had this idea for like a kind of a horror, but like more thriller horror kind of vibe. And so I wrote out like a synopsis and I sent it to Para because she is like the horror expert.
Sorry,
And
sorry. It kills me how you said para.
Para, I sent it to Para.
Because I call it
And
para, of course. My A is really
oh,
harsh. I've never heard you call us say like para. I've never heard this posh, so posh. I so sent it to para.
I sent it to Para.
I sent it to para,
Jessica.
mate.
I sent it to Jessica Para.
Yeah. What did she
So I
say?
sent her. She great things, but like I wanted to make sure it was on par with horror or like that
Mm.
genre, which is exactly what you're doing, is like going and researching to hit those beats.
Mm.
And then she was like, "Oh, you should read this book and watch this movie because they like lend closely to what you're writing." And I wonder, are you like reading or listening to any like middle grade horror?
Yeah,
Horror?
that's why I've been watching Creeped Out because it's middle. That's where
It's
I
more middle
start.
grade.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 100% because I wanted to make sure like stuff like do the parents survive? Do people like is there always a resolution? Like what's kind of the vibe? But it seems like it's kind of open game. It
Yeah.
seems like it's not what, it's how you handle it. So what I noticed with middle grade horror, and this is why, I mean, they might technically pitch it as YA, but I don't know. In my opinion, it's definitely middle grade. What I've heard is that, middle grade readers love to read up. So the protagonists are older than what you would expect
Perfect.
readers
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah.
But the way the themes are handled, what I notice is like the spooky stuff, there's there's like enough warning for it. And if it's really scary, it's only on screen for a short time and then there'll be levity. Or if it's on screen for a long time, it's not like a really haunting image.
Uh-huh. Yes.
But that said, there's definitely parts where I was like, there's like one I'm avoiding watching because they're like anthology episodes, and there's one about this like supernatural force in the shed. And I was just like, I know so far I've trusted them. Like I've been able to stomach every single one of the creeped out episodes. And then I'm just like, but what's in the shed? You know, what's in the shed?
Yes.
I'm a little nervous about what's in the shed. But yeah, there was a wide range. Like there was one about an alien, and like that one was very like G rated. And then there were others that were like way more frightening, where like something would happen to the main person or whatever. Like in one, she loses her face gets sucked off. But again, they're very cautious. Like you only see it for half a second, her blank face. They don't try to startle you with that.
Yeah, like leaning into the grotesqueness of it
That's
all and
it.
like yeah.
That's it. That's
Okay.
it. So yeah, so far it feels all right. I mean, we'll see what Sandra says. I'm always happy to
Yeah.
like pare it back a bit if it's too dark. Um,
Yeah.
but also I'm excited for Montoya horror vibes. Hello.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't I think it's fun. I think because again like I I feel like I've been having all these random ideas
Mm,
and so I've just been jotting them down.
yeah.
And honestly, none of them that like have really felt like really exciting have been romanticy. They've been different
Mm-hmm.
things. So like I had the gothic romance, a young adult gothic romance that I wanted to explore, and then this young adult horror I wanted to explore. So like
Yes.
I feel like and I know we're supposed to trying to keep this short, but
No, don't
I
stress.
feel like because I had sent Larissa, my agent, an adult romantasy
Mm,
pitch, and she really liked it. But she was like, "There's a lot of things you should tweak, but also like don't rest on what you've been doing.
mm,
Like step up your game. Like work. Like dig in a little bit more. Read some adult gothic novel. Like read some other things, and like figure out if that's kind of where you want." She didn't say all of that. My brain went there,
your brain went.
and yeah, and honestly, like I was like, you know what? Because she recommended a book, and
Mm,
as soon as I started reading it, I was like, oh, okay. Like not everything I write has to be a romantasy. Like it's kind of fun to explore these different genres, and so I don't know. Like we'll see what she thinks for these other pitches that I have, but I feel like I maybe don't have to do romantasy on the next thing. So we'll
I'm very
see.
excited for this era. Yes, and you're also a Halloween girly, so it would feel right if you're writing horror. I just
Yes.
love everything about this, and I think you're going to be able to, as somebody who's really enjoying writing horror, I feel like you're going to be able to do everything you're doing. Like you can put romance threads in it, you can put like these fantastical worlds. But there's this like different there's a freedom in writing horror with like the humor and the kookiness and I think you felt it writing smut because I think writing smut is similar. We just let our little wild brains roam free because it's more accepted in those things. It's not so boxed into what the readers are expecting to read.
Yeah.
Something I
Yeah.
think like
I think so. I think it is. It's like trying something new and letting your brain go and see where it goes. The book that she honestly, I do want to mention this book.
yeah.
It's called Our Hideous
Ooh.
Progeny. It's so interesting. It
What's
is
that about?
it's a gothic novel, so it is basically the main character is great the great grandniece, I think, of Victor Frankenstein.
Ooh.
And so she finds his letters on how he built this creature. And her and her husband are kind of like floundering in life. They're broke. And so, but they're academics, or he is at the time. Ladies really aren't allowed to be, but she's just as smart as this man she's married to.
Mm.
And so they read Frankenstein's notes and they said like they're going to try and build a creature themselves. And so it's so interesting and like gross and I don't know, it's just interesting. So I was like, oh, this is kind of really cool.
So, wait, why? Okay, I have to ask now. Why do they decide that they need to build a creature? What makes that
Well, okay, so
decision?
yeah, well, they're like I said, they're academics, so they're like really for her. She's always had this fascination with fossils
Mm,
because she lives, I want to say like in England, or she's like on a smaller island,
mm.
and like fossils like wash on shore. So she's always been really interested. And her husband is really interested in like dinosaurs and like that sort of like
Mm.
I don't know what the proper professional term is. And so she and him are, like I said, they're flat broke. And so they're like looking for something to like set them apart and to get them noticed and to get
Yeah.
them grants. And so they decide they're going to give it a go. And
Gotcha. So the lure of like the fame and fortune.
yeah, and they don't want to just like revive some creature here. They're trying to bring back like this ancient sort of like creature that roamed the earth at some point, like a lizardy reptilian water
Oh my God.
thing.
That is so interesting.
Yes,
That
it's
sounds
really
like a
good.
breath of fresh air. I haven't read something like that.
Yeah, I think that's it because like I loved fantasy so much, but then I
Yeah.
started writing it, and so it became hard to read it. And I,
That's so
so now
real.
trying something new, it's like, like it's like, oh, okay, wait, there's other things I can explore too, you know?
No, but literally that I wouldn't have expected I would gobble up these old horror movies like this, especially because like the what I'm watching the next day is RuPaul's Drag Race. Like I want crave that light, that energetic, whatever. But 100% it's like I'm like burnt out from the other stuff and I'm like
Yeah.
ready to like gobble up something different. It feels different. That's what I love about it. It feels so different, but it's still funny, engaging, magical in its own way. And so, yeah, I'm excited for
All
girl.
the things.
Montoya horror era is everything to me right now.
We shall see. Yeah, I think it's fun. I'm like I feel excited.
Yeah.
Like I obviously love romanticy and I'll go back to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's not a never thing, but like I do feel like my heart is like leaning somewhere else, and I don't want it to feel like a chore. Like, oh, I gotta write a romantasy. Dang it, you know what I mean? I want to write something that I feel really excited about. Um,
Yes.
so we shall see. Who knows?
And that's what we kind of promised ourselves straight away that we'll always like work on the projects that excite us. So you're just,
Yes.
you're just following that big magic pool like you always have. And
Oh,
yeah, it's
magic.
gonna be amazing. Just like
Yeah.
our guest today.
Yes. How long did we go?
Which
Are you
we
getting a countdown?
we've got 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's okay.
Jeez
This was a special
Louise.
episode, and to be honest, so it's a double episode, listeners, because Kelsey just had so much interesting, amazing, raw journey stuff to share. So we just did a double episode, and honestly, the first one just was like done. So I'm so
Yes.
excited that it's a double one, and we had lots to say too, because that's
Yeah.
just our way. I loved it. I lived for it. So,
Yes,
but yes, if you have the bio there, you can
I
introduce our
do.
lovely lady of the day.
Yeah. Kelsie, let me just start off with this. Has the shortest bio I've ever seen. And maybe I pulled it from the wrong source, but it is two sentences. It's two sentences, which I love for Kelsie. It feels on par for her. And I don't even think it mentions her book in her bio, but her book is um, the one's no, the God's Time
God,
Forgot.
you're
Yes.
remembering the old title.
Yes, it's God. Oh my goodness. The Gods Time Forgot. The
Yeah,
Gods Time Forgot by Kelsie Sheridan Gonzalez.
that's the one.
Okay, I'll read her bio.
Yeah.
Kelsie Sheridan Gonzalez lives in New York with her husband, their son, and a fluffy dog named Oliver Queen. When she's not writing, she can be found in Ireland, touching stones and trying to fall through them. That is it. That is the bio. And I love her for this.
It feels correct. It feels right. Yeah, thank you for mentioning her book. I don't know. It does seem like a short bio, but we love it and we live. And you know what? It's better than the ones I've had to read lately. You lucked out with this one.
I try to weasel my way out of all the long ones. I
I know
just
it is.
expose myself.
Oh no. Oh no, no. I've known this.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah,
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
We hear you.
yeah. Here we are. Welcome to the show. Like this
Have your
is
merch.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think I wore it so many times though that your face has just started to disintegrate.
Oh, I'll have to send you a new one. I've got a new logo anyway. Did you see that
Ooh.
when I did the heart hands? Look, look, look. It's doing hearts. What the
Oh,
hell? It's gotten smart.
It's scary.
no,
Well,
not for me.
sorry. Not for you, Kelsie.
Oh
Sorry.
my God. Apparently I haven't turned off enough of like I did an update and there was this weird fucking AI co-pilot in my Word doco. It
Oh
took me
yeah.
ages to get rid of it. Maybe it's in Zoom now as well. But
They're
the heart was
everywhere now.
cute.
Yeah, it
At
knows how
least
to
it's
get
cute.
you. Yeah,
Yeah. Friggin' AI. It's all over the place. You can't escape it.
literally, it's
Uh,
everywhere.
it's not
My
good. But
emails now, they're like, let me draft your email. I'm like, no.
The email,
right.
okay, can we just take a moment? The email is driving me nuts. I have to work out how to get rid of that one because on my phone, that Copilot thing takes up half the
Yeah,
screen, blinking at the
yeah,
bottom. I can't see what I'm writing. I'm like,
so
who
annoying.
thought this was helpful? It's not
No, it's,
helpful.
yeah,
It's
it's the
not.
worst.
It is. It's no good. We don't love
No, no.
it. But we love having you on. And this is
Yeah.
so, so awesome. You're a week out from publishing your
I
first novel. Like, that is amazing and wild. Like, how are you feeling
know.
right now?
I'm like freaking out. I feel like there's a million things that I need to be doing, but I'm just like doing none of them. I'm just like a deer in headlights, basically.
Yeah. I think that's a good way of coping, just doing
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah. Just pretend it's not happening. Yeah, I bombarded social media today with like because I haven't been posting really because I've just like spent so many years posting every day that I'm like pick the worst time to get burnt out. And but today I've like posted like 7 times. So
You
There
have
you
been
go.
consistent. Like, I just want to
oh
say, like, you have been so consistent with your
my
social media
God.
stuff.
I know. I feel like I've got to be muted on so many people's things because I am just relentless. Like, get this girl's book out already.
Yeah. I think that's a good tactic though. Like you
Yeah,
just like annoy the shit out of everybody, like continue to post until they have to buy your book. I think it's a
exactly. I wore them down.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a good way of doing it. Honestly, I think all authors should do it. No, I don't think that's true because we'll all get burnt out and we'll all just like be done. But
Just,
Yeah.
I
gotta
don't
do
know.
what you gotta do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got
Okay. Well, let's take it to right to the interview questions because it's some of our favorite things to know, which is what is the strangest thing you own?
I tried to think really hard about that one. And like, not that I think that everything I have is cool, but like, I don't think I have anything weird. I couldn't think of something that would be like quirky enough for the podcast. So I'm sorry. I like really tried hard. I have a bunch of antiques, but
Okay.
they're like regular mom antiques, nothing crazy, nothing creepy,
No,
I don't think.
we can work with that. What's one of your treasured antiques?
Oh,
I'm
that's a
looking,
good question.
I love this little guy. Cute
Ooh.
and little,
Beautiful.
petite, bite size. But yeah, I mean, it's nothing really super interesting. I'm
No,
sorry.
honestly, that's really cool. Like it looks like it has a story. It
It
looks
probably
almost like
does.
magical.
And it's made in Portugal, so
Ooh,
Yeah.
I love
it's
that.
probably special.
Oh, it came over like probably on a pirate ship of some
I
sort. Like,
I think so. Yeah.
yeah, it feels very, very like mysterious. Some
Yeah.
things have happened. Some juices have flowed from that
It
little thing.
knows things. Yeah. It's seen some things.
Okay, well, what is the what is something you think about all the time?
This one I do have an answer. And this is probably so like embarrassing, but I always think about how like I wonder like did the lighting like that we have like so when I walk outside and it's like bright and sunny, I'm like, is this what it looked like in like 1800s? Like was the sky this blue? Like in my head, everything like should have like this brown hue over it, you know what I mean? Or like a sepia, whatever that filter is. Yeah, I'm always like, is this the same sky that they looked at? Like, is this how bright and vivid everything was? Do you know when they like colorize those like old pictures? And I'm like, did it
Yes.
actually look like this? Are you sure it wasn't black and white? So that's something I think about a lot.
I love that.
I can
That's my Roman Empire.
I feel like this is the strangest thing you own, the answer to this question.
Your brain.
Here.
I'm truly like I want to know so much about this. Like, does the question continue on as you go about your day? Are you just kind of like, because I do that with houses, I think. I start to like picture like what was the energy like before? You know, like
Yeah.
what was the decor? I love that you've taken it out of the house and into the skies and stuff. How far does it extend?
Basically like the whole world like it was everything like this. I look at the neighbors and like did a girl stand here like in the 1700s and like just see the same thing color wise, just the color. Obviously I know like
Oh.
the houses weren't there. It's mostly like the colors. I don't know why I'm fixated on the colors. I think because I just like in my head everything's black and white, but like no, that's not how it's supposed to be.
I mean, I think there's a book there. I think there's
Mm.
some sort of like
Yes.
fantastical story. I don't know how it would work, but I think there's a story there, Kelsie.
Yeah. I'll have to dive a little deeper on this one.
Yes. Well, speaking of stories, did you always want to be a writer?
I always enjoyed writing, like I enjoyed like English classes, that kind of thing. But no, I didn't like know that I could be one. It just like didn't occur to me that that was like a profession I could have, or like I don't know. I just think like I thought books just like showed up. I never like thought about how they got there and like the people like you have your big name authors at the time, whenever, but like back when I was imagining these things. But yeah, it didn't occur. They were just like celebrities. Like it was just like this untouchable world kind of thing that I didn't think I'd ever have
Yeah.
access to or like be able to peek behind the curtain. So
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't always like a plan for me, but
Well,
yeah.
okay, so tell us a little bit about like what got you started with writing, and then I want to dive into like your journey into publishing because
The worst.
yeah, the worst. But first, let's start with like how did you get started?
Honestly, like I was commuting into Manhattan every day for work. So it was like an hour and 20 minutes on the train one way. So it was like 3 hours a day on the train. I'm like, I need to
Mm.
do something productive. I was like devouring historical romances. So like that was like super influencing like what I was into. But honestly, I what really did it was I was reading this book. I won't name it. And it was like ridiculous, but there was like eight of them and I just ate them up. And I was like, these books are really silly. Like there's just they're bad, but like I love them. So I was like, wait, why couldn't I do something like this? And that's why I did it. I was like, well, if this person did it, I can too. That was basically it. Spite.
Spike. Yeah,
I
Spike is good.
honestly I love that so much though. Like all lately I'm just like the longer you do it, you need more reasons than just love of writing, you know? Like you need spite, you need
Yes.
like whatever it is. Like I love that answer so
Yeah.
Yes, let it fuel you.
Yes, basically
much.
pettiness, spite, all of it.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of our writing is like kind of fanfic of all the things that we read. It's like, well, I love how this was, but I want to change this and like try this. And so I feel like every story is like fanfic of another story in a
100%.
certain way.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think
I
that's how these stories are so like loved by everyone because we all love like the same things kind of collectively. We love a lot of the same things. And then when you're pulling different bits and putting them into the stories, I think that's just how romantasy and book talk and all of this stuff is taken off. So,
Yeah, I love
That
that
feels right.
moment when you like see a reel that just makes you laugh so hard, and then the comments are exactly what you would write, and you're like, oh, there's something about like there's a shared humor
yeah,
pulse, there's a shared
yes.
sensibility post with at least some of the world, you know, like
It's
not
true.
all, but they're there.
Good chunk, yeah.
Yeah, a good chunk. It's funny because as soon as you see something you like, it's like right to the comments. I need to see what everybody's saying. That's like my favorite part is like the
Yeah.
comments.
Yeah.
Not in Facebook. Facebook comments are awful. Like
I can't even navigate Facebook. It's like
No,
yeah,
messy
it's
and
not. They're not there.
yeah.
They're not there. But TikTok comments in particular,
Yeah.
there's just a humor there you just can't get anywhere else in the
Mhm.
world.
So true.
It's so good.
It's a
It's so
special.
good. Yes, yes. I think that's pretty. I think when you were still riding the train is when I first met you
Yeah.
on Instagram. Because I remember those pictures of like the romantic shot of your like laptop, you know,
Me
in the
like dipping
train.
my toes into Bookstagram. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, the start
Oh,
of it all.
so you
Yeah.
two
The
are
good old
early,
days.
early IG buddies.
Very early.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Kelsie read my very first book that I wrote
That
way
one.
back in the day. Yes.
The
Yeah, yeah.
one that you
The one.
reference.
Yes, my very bad book. Kelsie read that, and
No.
I thank you,
That's
Kelsie.
bad.
And I read a very early version of this book that we're
May as well,
celebrating.
yeah, it may as well have been a different book. Like so much of it has been cut and changed. But yeah, she was there
Yeah.
from like she was basically I would call you almost like an alpha read on that book.
Yeah, and I loved it. I freaking loved it then, and I knew like, okay, it's gonna get there, and it did. And next week, it's published for the world. Can you take us like into your journey for all of our listeners because it's been a wild one.
Yes, very, very awful. I mean, it's been great. I've learned a lot of things and I'm happy for the stuff I know, but at the time it was hard going through it. But I think, honestly, I think it was Pitch Wars that like kicked off the whole, like my momentum into querying. I did not get selected for Pitch Wars, mind you, but I did find an editor via like one of the mentors. And I was like, oh, like I would love to work with them. I need a developmental edit because I had been like writing and revising The God's Time Forgot for like literally 10 years. Like I would write, for 6 months and then I wouldn't touch it for another 6 months. And like so it just was like never getting to the end. And I knew I had like some major plot issues that I was so tangled in the weeds, like I needed help. Like poor Angela could only read books so many times. But so yeah, so I found a great developmental editor and I worked with them for like 6 months. And then, so that was like in January of 2020. And then that summer I started querying. That feels like a lifetime ago. I think it was 2020. Yeah. But so I queried for about 4 months and I got an offer from a agent, which I do forget about sometimes. I think I block it out of my head because it kind of spiraled the rest of the mess that I got into. So I mean, is this too many details?
No, I want
no, tell us all.
You have me on tenterhooks. Give me all the details you're willing to share.
Okay. So I got an offer from a schmagent in August. So I had been querying for about 3 months at this point. And like, at that time, it felt like a lifetime. And like, I didn't really have a ton of like agented friends or like people that knew the industry or anything like that. So it was basically what information I could find on Google was like what I went with. And so I got this offer from the schmagent. They didn't offer to, they were like immediately were like, we want to rep you, like what book, like they were like, here's the contract, like what title do you want to put in, stuff like that. And I'm like, that's weird that they didn't ask for a phone call or anything. But I was like, well, what if no, it felt weird in my gut. But so I like kind of entertained it. So then I notified all these other agents that had my query to see if they, wanted the full, and a bunch of them got back to me. And then like 3 or 4 days later, I hadn't heard from the original agent that offered. And I was like, this is weird. Now I'm like in a mess. I don't want those other agents to think I was lying about having an offer. Like I was just like a mess. And so I emailed that agent, was like, I'm declining your offer. Thanks. No thanks. Like they didn't respond. And then I had to go and email all these other agents and be like, hey, so about that offer, like don't actually have it anymore. Like this is so embarrassing, whatever. Most of them responded and were like, oh, I'm happy to have more time. So this was in August. And maybe it actually it was end of August. I think it was around Labor Day weekend. That's important for the timeline to hear what my ex-agent said to me. So that was like beginning of September, let's say end of August, beginning of September. 2 weeks later, I get an offer from my agent, the person that I signed with. And she was like, I don't know, I felt it was weird on the phone, but at the same time, like she was like the president of their agency, and I'm like outing them right now. But so they just felt very powerful on the phone. And like I just was like, oh my God, I'm so lucky that they're talking to me. Like I didn't want to say anything that would like make them decide to pull their offer. Like I just like didn't know how things worked. And so I was on the phone with her and I was like, I have other agents that have my full. And she's like, well, if you haven't heard from them by now, like you're probably not going to hear from them. And so I accepted her offer right then on the phone. I didn't notify anyone else because then I was like, they're probably not going to believe me anyway because of this like mishap with the agent. So yeah, I like kind of felt pressured. She didn't pressure me, but like I just felt pressured to like kind of like if I didn't have the correct answer, she might change her mind. So I signed with her and I did like a round or two of revisions and that was fine. She was like responsive. And then I think my second round, I didn't nail it the first time on the revisions. And then so I only did one with her where I got feedback from her. So then the second one I turned in, I never got feedback. Like I would have to email like multiple times. Like it was always her assistant that would get back to me. And I was always just checking in to see where we were at. And like 10 months went by and I didn't get any notes. They were like, oh, we're still looking for an outside reader or like send it to beta readers and stuff like this. And like, I did everything like they said because I just like thought that we were going to like go on sub soon. I even got on TikTok at this time to like get my agent's attention. It was like summer of 2021. And I was just like, I joined TikTok, because I saw what like Alex Astor had done with her like viral video, like blew up, and I'm like, this is what I want. So I was like hustling on TikTok, and she was like, okay, like what a passionate corner of the internet. And I'm just like, yeah, okay. So yeah, she basically just like brushed me off, and after 10 months of no notes or anything, no response on it. She would email me, but just like disregard me being like, hey, what's up with this book? I left her. She wouldn't like release me from the contract. I had to wait 60 days to query again. So I had like a pretty revised book, but like most of the stuff stayed the same. So once the 60 days were up, I just started querying immediately, and that was June 2022, I think. And then I jumped into the query trenches again, and like I got a lot of pulls off the bat, but then it was like a lot of silence, and it was just like a terrible time. But in the grand scheme of things, it was only 6 months, and I got an offer of publication and I got an offer of rep. I went with the offer of rep because I wanted to try my hand at Big Five. But that agent, I knew on the phone call, I was like, this is not going to happen to me another time. But it did.
Oh
But
my
this
God.
time, at least, I asked all these questions up front, like, can I talk to your clients? Like, what's your plan for submission, or like, what's your revision plan? All of this stuff. And like, she seemed to think like there wasn't a ton of work to be done, and like we were going to go out on sub right away. I'm realizing now, like I think it was mostly because of an editor that had reached out to me, like from a Big Five, and had already seen some of my manuscript, and they were like, when you get an agent, like I want to see this. But then they also like gave me notes to work on it and stuff like that. But I think that's why the agent like signed me, and for like my platform. I don't know, because I don't think she liked me or my book very much. So she basically told me to send it to beta readers. She's like, put a call out on TikTok, like go to beta readers. So like I had like 30 different people. I had so many people like offer to beta read, but I sent it to like 30 people. And all of those people gave me feedback, which was just enormous and stupid. But there was at least a consensus. So I'm like, okay, so these are things that like all of these people agree need to change within the story, or like they're having, they're confused about. So I did edits based on their revisions, based on my agent's suggestion to send it to them. She hated those revisions and she was like, no, this is not it. And I think that's when she like checked out. She was like helpful at first, like on the phone call with me, like trying to figure it out. But then I could tell as it went on, she just like completely lost interest. I cut 40,000 words off of the manuscript. Like I did like a massive overhaul over the summer. And then when I went to send it to her, she initially said she was going to read it, but then I was like, oh, I thought of something that I wanted to tweak. Like, how far along are you are you reading already? Or like, should I make the change now or should I just write it down? She's like, oh, I thought this had already been like workshopped. And I was like, what? Workshops? And she was like, yeah, like you should get like a writers group or whatever. Or you could like hire a developmental editor. And I was like, no, I thought you were going to read the book. She's like, no, I don't read. Like, this is basically a first draft. Like, I don't read that. And I'm like, what? She's like, I'm not your target audience. And I'm like, well, you were when you signed me. Like, what are you talking about? Oh,
I think we just lost Angela.
Okay, I'm back.
You're back.
Sorry to interrupt this like story that I was
like rambling. Like, tell me if I need to cut
It's
it back.
not rambling. Like, honestly, like I've heard snippets of your story through like your reels and stuff, like your posts over the years, but like hearing it all like this in one go, like I just want to hold you. And like it's really horrific. And yeah, so she didn't. So I think you were saying she was like, I'm not your target audience. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why did you sign me, mate? Like,
exactly. And she like wanted to send me out to beta readers. And I do understand like not wanting, like a lot of work would have to have gone into the book, but I'm like, I sent it to beta readers and outside people before, and you didn't like what happened. So like, I want to make sure we're good with the direction it's going. And then also putting me into like, or trying to get me into like a writer's workshop or like a critique group, whatever, like you have to earn other writers' trust before I can just be like, hey, can you read my full manuscript right now? Like, it doesn't work like that. You like, you'd send chapters at a time. And I feel like that would have taken a long time to get to the point where I could have other like qualified people read my book. And like, that wasn't the timeline that I was on. Like, I'd already been like jerked around by the first agent. So I was like, I'm not doing it again. So that was September. So I've been with her for 9 months and I was like, this isn't working for me. So at least that was quick. And she was like, great, me neither. And like, we ended it then. She was like, you're released from the contract, like contract terminated. And like, that was it. So in September of 2023, I was back in the fairy trenches and I was dying. It was like really upsetting because I felt like I had a lot of momentum going on social media. Like there was people that were interested in the book. Then I'm like, if I like, this is going to take forever. The app might go away before I actually get this book out. Like, I don't want to lose what's happening. But so I queried and I got a lot of full requests, like off the bat. Like, I feel like I was at like 30 or something. Like, it was like I'm like, this is great. Like, I'm definitely getting an agent. It's just slow. And I didn't hear anything from anyone. And I was starting to like really doubt anything was going to happen. And I started really considering self-publishing just because like I couldn't even write another book. Like The God's Time Forgot like was just ruining my life. Like it was all I could focus on because I was either querying, revising, or begging for, it was just horrible. So I couldn't I didn't want to shelve it either because I'm like way too stubborn for that. I'm like, I've had 2 agents with it before, so I can do something with it. I'm not shelving it. So it was going to be either self-publish or continue querying. But I kind of gave myself like a January 1st deadline. I was like, so I got ahead of myself. So I withdrew all of my queries. Actually, that's what I did. In December, I decided I was going to pull my full. I bought, I paid money for, I hired a cover artist, like a really good one. And I paid them. I didn't get, I obviously didn't ask for the money back. I'm just going to use it for something in the future. But so like I was fully in on self-publishing, but as I was like looking up all the work involved, I was like drowning. I'm like, this is not what I want. Like, what are ISBNs? Like, I don't want to do this. How many do I need to buy? Like, it was just so complicated. But I withdrew all my fulls. And then I got the offer from Alcove Press. I had sent that on a whim. I didn't really think it, so they accept unagented submissions. And I sent it on a whim. I didn't think anything of it. But 2 weeks later, like when I had paid, my money was gone to this artist, like things were moving, and they were like, "Yeah, we want to like offer like here's a book deal. Like, do you want to sign with us?" And I was like, "Oh God." And the main reason I went, they're a small press, but they do distribution through Penguin Random House, which is like, that's huge to me. Like I couldn't do what they did. Like, their channels of distribution. And it's just been amazing. Like my editor is so great that I've been working with. But yeah, at the time I was like, do I want to do it all by myself or do I want some help? And obviously I went with help because I just want to write the book. I don't want to have to worry about all of that other stuff. But so I got the offer, and like obviously publishers are, the contracts are notoriously favored towards the publishers, very predatory for authors. So there was only so much I could do on my own. So I had to try and then you can always nudge literary agents with an offer of publication. But it was in December and I had withdrawn all of my fulls. So I was like notifying people. I'm like, actually, like I'm unwithdrawing this and I have an offer of publication, but it was over like the holidays. And so like no one was answering me. I was getting a ton of out of office replies or like, I'll check back with you in January. Like, and I was like, wow, like this sucks. And so then a friend, she put me in touch with her agency and they were just going to handle the contract for me. But then I guess another agent there read it and they offered, they offered rep, and then on a query that I forgot to withdraw, I got an offer of rep for The God's Time Forgot. Like they were like, oh, is this book still available? I was like, oh, actually, I forgot to let you know that I've taken it off market. But yeah, so they were like, they asked to see something else. The next thing I was writing, that was my Vampire Whip, and I had a few chapters to send them, and they offered, but I ended up signing with my agent that was attached to the deal for The God's Time Forgot. So yes, that is how I got here. So that was a lot, but
holy shit.
That's how we're here.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow. Again, I want to hold you.
I'm like out of breath.
And how did you okay, publishing is just so hard to begin with. I just want to ask, how did you stay sane through all of this?
I think I'm just like so stubborn. I think it was just like pure stubbornness. And like, had I not gotten the offer the first time around, I probably wouldn't have been able to like maintain the delusion that I was gonna do it again. But that really helped like with the confidence boost there. But no, I was like, there was a lot of dark days. Like I was like really sad for a lot of time. I was scary to leave my first agent because I'm like, am I making a mistake? Like, am I being like, too needy? Like, all of these things go through your mind. But I guess it all had to happen that way. Like now I'm like, I feel like a really great advocate for myself. Like I have no problem asking any kind of questions or being like, why did you say this? Or what does that mean? Like, whereas like before I was like, you guys are the bosses, like just don't let me get in your way. So I'm glad it happened. But yeah, when it was happening, it was like the word. Every time I had to go back to the query trenches, I felt like a piece of my soul was ripped out.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I remember even like the second time around, how different you were compared to the first agent, where you were like, because you weren't hearing back or you weren't vibing, you're like, fuck it, I'm dropping him. And I was like, what? And you're like, no, that's it, I'm done. And I was like, okay, let's go. And like, but you could tell you had learned and grown and you became your own advocate, and it worked out like in the long run because you knew your worth. And it's true. I think especially when you're querying, you're so like desperate to get that agent, and we think it's like that's it. When we get the one agent, like they're supposed to be the end all be all, but that's not the case.
I
Like,
had no idea that like people left their agents, so I felt like I was acting like an absolute maniac. But I ended up, I connected with Megan on TikTok, who she had left an agent before. She had been posting in her, she'd been posting like a series on TikTok, and I was just like watching with popcorn. I'm like, oh my God, so like this is a thing. I'm allowed to do this. And then she's like, what are you doing still with this person? Like they haven't like spoken to you. Like this is not how agent author relationships are supposed to be. Like I felt so annoying with the first agent. And yeah, I really, so even though no agent is better than a bad agent, like that's very hard to actually believe while you're querying. So like that's kind of how I got caught. Even though I knew this the second time, I had the connection with that editor, and I was like, let's just get this book. I want to send it to them. So I kind of was like, this person offered, like, let's go. Like, we have the same vision. Like, let's just, it's going to be quick with them. Like, I guess in hindsight, I'm glad how it happened, because had they sent me on sub, they obviously were my target audience. Like who freaking knows where they were going to send my book.
right.
Like, like that whole beta reader thing was like a mess, but I'm glad it like led me away from that agent, because like it just wasn't a vibe. But I thought like she was a means to an end. Like I needed an agent to access this editor, but never got there. So
Yeah, you took a different route, and it worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really happy with how it worked out. So I'm super happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't have had to go through all this trauma though. And if anything, it reminds me more than ever, like why it's important to have community as well, not just like for the moral support and whatever, but like you're right, we are, especially starting out, it's not like we all do, there's no course for like how to get published, really. Like how to get agented, all of that stuff. We like fumble our way through. And it does make us vulnerable because, sometimes you're striving for that so long and you're like, here's my offer. I can't miss this out. And if you didn't have those friends being kind of like, dude, no, this isn't the go. Like you convince yourself, this is just how it is, because they're in a position of power. They can like abuse that. Unfortunately, it does put
100%.
writers in a vulnerable position.
Yeah. No, it definitely does. Yeah, the community, and it's hard, it's easier said than done. Like, oh, find a community. Like
Yeah.
you do, like, you have to engage in it and like build up that trust. But yeah, I think it's just really important to like you kind of have to hang out on social media a little bit, at least be as a lurker, so you can learn these things. Because otherwise, like, yeah, you just like, I don't know how you, unless you luck out with just like a super awesome agent, which obviously there's tons of those, but like, yeah, you get somebody like mine and you don't talk to anyone else, you think that's normal.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. No. And I love that you were so like open on social media, and and people learned a lot from you and your experience too. So you're now that advocate and that voice for so many like budding writers. And so
People like
good
slid
job.
into my DMs and they were like, wait, this is happening with my agent too. And I'm like, yeah, it's not right. And they left. And actually one person recently was with my first agent and like left. They were like, wait, this sounds so familiar. And I was like, by the way, that person in bio sucks.
Are you comfortable naming them for any listeners to avoid them, or you prefer not to go there?
I don't know. Like, I have no problem, but like, I feel like it's like frowned upon. Like, I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys
I don't know either.
You add it to the Whisper network, wherever that is, right?
Yeah, like anytime if someone wants to like message me, I have no problem. Or like if they want to message you guys, I can tell you who it was. I have no
I like that. Whisper network is open, friends. If you, I really feel like
if you just want the tea, DM me. I'll tell you who it was.
Yeah, if you need the tea.
Yeah.
Now, listen, my lovely ladies, I see we have 3 minutes left and we haven't even asked you about your book yet. So do you want me to send another Zoom link so that we can actually...
sorry, like look at how much time I'm taking.
Please don't apologize.
Everything
you've shared is like gold nuggets. And honestly, this is the part that I live for. And I think it's so valuable. I just also want you to have a chance to talk about your book and stuff. So I will
let's send a new link. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And also to complain about Zoom, I can't see the time, like the countdown on my phone.
Mm, alas. It's a hard knock life.
I'm just
That
so
is
miserable.
annoying because you have no idea. Taking the piss, but it really is can't see. But it's okay. I will let you know. But yeah, damn. Damn, damn, damn. Hearing it all like that in one go,
It's rough.
super rough. She's
Yes.
back, so
All
yeah,
right. And we're back.
we're back.
Wait, I didn't know that TikTok was going to be banned again.
Is
What?
it officially happening again?
If it can't be sold, I guess. Yeah. I like forgot that it was only like a stay of execution, not a
Yeah. It's
Wow.
hard. It's hard after the like how dramatic of a goodbye it was. And then for us to just come back, like it wasn't long
that
enough.
no. But like that also like triggered my whole like burnout, I think. It was like the
Mm.
back and forth, like, is it gonna be gone? Like what have I been doing for all these years and now this app is gone? Um,
Yeah.
that's like really I'm like, I can't. Like the social media is like way too volatile, like with everything going on. I'm just like, oh my God.
It's
Yeah.
true though, because you really can, especially like it feels like on TikTok mostly, you can get banned and then then
Yeah,
what? You get, it's gone, right? Yeah.
yeah, no, it's not like a sustainable like place to live, I think. Like if you're marketing books and stuff like that, you need to have backups.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that actually,
Yeah.
because you are so great on socials. Like you've been like just killing it since I've known you. What have you learned like throughout your years? Like what do you feel like is important? What do you feel like isn't important?
I obviously like, a lot of it has to do with like luck. I don't think I did anything like extra special that like my peers weren't doing. You know what I mean? Like there's so many people that like I'm acting the same way. So like I don't know. But one thing was like I was always like very consistent, like literally would show up every single day. And I'm not saying that other people weren't doing that, but like I don't know, that's something I did multiple times a day. Like I was glued to the app. And then I was always, responding to comments. That was like the biggest thing. And I felt like I built a community there.
Mm-hmm.
I was very, like, so I kind of got into the mindset where like it doesn't matter if the video is going viral. Like if I have like 10 people commenting on a video, that's like 10 people I'm engaging with and like getting to know them, they're getting to know me. So I felt really good about what I was doing on TikTok. Like I didn't have consistently viral videos. Like I'd have I was on it for probably like 6 months before I did have a few like writing relatable type things blow up, but I never blew up in like the book talk space. Um,
Mm.
yeah, it was always like just writing related content, but then I always made sure to kind of talk about I'm trying to get published. So I think it was more like people were really there for like the start of the journey, but I was also just like leveling with them. And like, oh my God, writing sucks. This is so hard. Or this, you know what I mean? Like it was just like a lot of complaining. But yeah, I think the comments, like responding to all the comments, I did my best. Like I think I responded to like pretty much everyone, like unless it was like a larger video that,
Mm.
that went viral. Like, but there weren't that many of them. But yeah, that was the biggest thing I did. And then I had one book video go viral and it went viral once, and you guys have seen it 100 times because I never changed it. The algorithm, for some reason, that one blurb, like I literally have recycled it hundreds of times. I'm not even kidding you. Like I've never since so it went viral in 2022, like December 2022, and I've been using that same pitch ever since. That was the one that like I went viral, and then I think that's what got like the editor interest and then the agent interest. So, well, that one agent that obviously lurked around online. But yeah, it was just like consistent and then like talking to people. I really think it was just the community because then I tried to pivot to Instagram and I had a much harder time building community there. Like I did get followers like fairly quickly because of viral videos, writing videos I had on TikTok, but I didn't know really anybody on Instagram. It was very much just like the comments. I didn't even respond to all of them unless I did kind of recognize somebody's username. Instagram is like a way it's just way different for me. I don't know. I think because I know people like in
Mm.
real life there that I have a harder time just like getting on there talking and like being the way that on TikTok I am free. Instagram, I'm not. It's just purely book promo and it feels a little bit ickier, but I just got to do it. But yeah, so I think that it's the commenting and the building community. Like I never felt negatively about TikTok, which is weird to say. And like I didn't get burnt out really until
Mm.
it was just this last like 3 months maybe that I started to feel burnt out. But because I think like I engaged positively, I didn't try to do the rage, what do you call it? Rage bait. Like I wasn't wading into negative discourse just because like I also didn't post hot takes because like I just couldn't handle like I can handle myself in real life. Internet is a whole different story. Like I could not take heat from like internet trolls, like or just anybody. Like if someone had a difference, if they're like, wait, this video is weird, I would literally take it down immediately. So I'm like, oh my God, maybe I said something that like offended somebody, like private. Like I was never going to allow it to become like a toxic space. So I kept it very like arm's length. I was like authentic with like the writing journey and everything, but I never got to a place where like it could be negative for me because I would crumble and I would not be able to be on there. So,
Mm.
but yeah, it's just, it's the last few months that I've been burnt out, but that's more because I feel less authentic posting, I think, because I just feel like I'm marketing, just pure marketing. Like all I care about now is like the end game of like getting this book out. So I've lost a little bit of, the magic that was initially there. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, I think that's
long way.
totally understandable too, because you've been going so hard.
Mm.
And that like I felt that completely with Sinner's Isle. Like that final stretch into pub day is like this weird space because you've been going at it, you've been
Yeah.
pushing, you've been doing all the things, and now it's like so close that it's really overwhelming in so many
Yeah.
ways. And like you have
You're,
other things
yeah.
going on as well, and you're probably planning launches and doing all the stuff. So yeah, I think like pulling back is totally okay. It's not going to change anything because you've done so much work
Yeah,
already.
like I'm starting to feel now, like obviously a week away, like there's not much I can do to like move the needle. If there was ever anything I could do to move the needle, because like notoriously authors can't move the needle. But prior to that, I was always hoping for like another viral video, but I never really got those big viral videos when I needed them. I got them when I didn't have pre-order links. So
Right.
we try.
Yes.
You
The
know?
algo god, it's like the one you spent hours, hours making. It's like one view. And then you did a throwaway video, like the worst recording, shaky hands, and that's the one that gets a bit of traction. And you're just like, I,
Why? It
why?
makes
Yeah,
it's awful. It
it
does.
is.
It's really designed to keep you down. Like it is like a casino, I think. And it's just like we're never meant to get the cheese. All these
That's
different analogies.
that
But yeah.
feels so real though. It feels so right. Like the other like last weekend I posted about I don't know when I posted about it, but like I did a throwaway video just about like joking that when the kids leave I'm going to Panera and I can't wait. That like has like 18,000 views. Never anything about my writing, never anything about like books. I'm just like whatever.
But
That
I
is
think,
why I did always niche down though. I never left the writing because I was like, I am not going to suffer through a random viral video that's not about like what I'm doing now. So I did niche down when everyone's like, no, I don't have a niche. I think you like niches are kind of
Yeah.
meant.
mm.
I mean, who knows now how the algorithm works? So don't take that's not advice.
Who
I feel
friggin' knows?
like it's just some of that advice is like, I love that you said, I mean, I hate it, but I love it that you said we're never meant to get the cheese. Like, I feel like when you have that self-awareness and you at least know that, it maybe takes some of the intensity away from
It
how
does,
much we put behind posting and like
100%.
all of that.
Yeah, that's a good point because actually that was also part of my like MO was
Mm,
lazy. Like I don't know how to like edit videos. I never did anything like other than my cell phone. Like I didn't like put it, I just don't know how to do that stuff. Like put it on a laptop and people are, like they create like beautiful content. I was like, I'm only gonna be able to make this work if it's exactly like that I can pick up my phone and just be like, well, you know, do something stupid. Because I'm like, if I'm putting it, because that, you know, early when I joined TikTok, I was trying to like make these like edits and like these really pretty aesthetic videos, and like they would flop and I would spend so much time on them. And I'm like, I can't do this. Like, this is not like sustainable. So yeah, I just had a very like lazy approach where like, you know, I didn't feel like I had to like look my best. Like I was like, if this is gonna work long term, you got to be okay with just doing the bare minimum. And that's basically what I've always done is the bare minimum. And I think that's just how, that's the only reason I like was able to last so long posting the way I was posting. And then like another thing I was always, because I'm like, I used to be posting, like I could be posting 7 times a day sometimes, like back in the day. And I'm like, I have so much content that I am giving this app every single day. And I'm like, why not start reusing it? So then I would reuse it and then I'd post it and I did not even think about it. I didn't care if it went viral or not because I didn't put any effort into it. So I was like detached from it. It was like I tricked myself. I'm like, oh, I'm posting this, but I didn't spend any time on it. So if it flops, it flops. Like it's not, you know, personal because it feels personal when you spend time on it and it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, but that's a good hack though. I love that.
Yeah.
Because especially if you find something that you know that the algorithm or whatever it likes, like you were talking about with this little clip, the synopsis that you had, use it.
I'll show you another thing that I do because I try to tell people this and I don't know if they realize that it's here and I don't know if I can show you. But if you go onto your TikTok profile, you're going to see mine now. But so at the top, can you wait?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
See those like arrows, where's my finger? There. So when you tap on them, you can change it. It's either latest or popular, and then it'll rank your videos by most popular. You can see how many of them are the exact same, but it'll show you the ones, it'll rank it by views. So like those are the ones that I'll pull from there when I don't know what else to post. So if you sort it from, take it away from latest, switch it to popular. Doesn't matter if it went viral once or if it even got like some traction once, it'll get it again, typically.
One thing I'm curious about, as you talk about all of it, do you feel like the times when your videos have gone viral and stuff, and I'm always curious about this, do you feel like it brought new people into the community that were like rooting for you?
Yes, like it wouldn't be like an influx of people, but it would be enough that like when I would go and post like a longer form video. So most of my viral ones have just been like, you know, 5 to 7 second clip with something like writing relatable on it. But then I'd post a longer form video and yeah, I'd notice like a new person was like chiming in. They're like, oh, how do you do this? Or like, oh my God, this happens to me all the time. And sometimes I'd respond with a video comment and then they're like, oh my God, you responded with a video comment. Like, and it just like, it definitely brings new people in, but I don't know. So like, yeah, I have that many followers. I don't think more than 5,000 people. That's like generous. I don't think that many people like know that I'm writing a book. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's what I'm always curious about.
Yeah, I don't think so. Like, I do have good engagement, but you know, I have a ton of videos that are 5 second clips that are not about my book, and I think those are the ones that get circulated. And like over the years, you know, 5,000 is probably generous, but I can imagine maybe that many like have come across a book post. But yeah, I don't think there's that many people. Just the way it works, I think people follow for memes and stuff like that. And I was essentially posting writing memes. Yeah, I don't think that translates to book sales, to be honest.
Right. But at least it translates to community and like meeting other writers.
100%. I definitely like it doesn't translate to as many book sales as like you would think. Like I definitely have like a lot of pre-orders, not a lot of pre-orders, but enough pre-orders that I know are from people that have been. So it's like a couple hundred of people that have been following me and excited for my journey. And then I know there's people that have signed up for ARCs. I see it. I know I'm not supposed to read them, but I do, the reviews. And they're like, I've been following this author on TikTok and whatever. And so I know that's like what brought people to the page. But yeah, I don't think it's like, you know, I feel like people like to put so much weight on follower count, but I don't think it doesn't translate. I know people with big accounts and books coming out that don't have the sales or the pre-orders or whatever. Like it's impossible to really, you know, I don't like to put the emphasis like that you need to have social media. I think you need to have social media to like have a community and to like learn things and see what you should know or what's going on, not for sales. We can't move the needle like that. And I think it's unfair that like pressure gets put on us to do all that.
Yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely, freaking lootly. And honestly, and I've noticed this, like the people you do meet, the community you do build, or people that are just following you that just love you,
Yeah.
um, you get opportunities from
Yeah.
that community. You know, it's
Yeah.
like people that have watched me that like a reel or something I say about the book. Those are the people that I either meet at conferences or I get invited to conferences
Yeah.
by, you know, so you're like,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
it doesn't generate sales, but it does generate these opportunities that
Mm.
Yes.
could turn out to be more sales or just more amazing opportunities that get your face out there. And so it's so, so important.
Yeah, so you don't need social media. Like, I know this is one of your other questions because I do my homework. Uh, but I don't think you need, you don't need social media to get an agent. You don't need it for a book deal, but I think you will miss out on a lot of opportunities if you're not on it. Because, there's plenty of authors that, they're, even in the 2025, like the Discord, the debut group chat or whatever, they don't have over 1,000 followers, but they have great, they have huge book deals. um, and so obviously you didn't need social media platform to get the deals, but I know there's people are always, I'm going to LA for these interviews because of someone I met on social media. And she was like,
Mm.
hey, do you want to come out? And I was like, oh my God, absolutely. If I wasn't on social media, that wouldn't have happened. So yeah, I think
Mm.
it's good for like community and for networking and that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't, anyone that feels pressure, I can't take my own advice, but anyone that feels pressure to like market and stuff like that, like it's just not necessary really. Because all it is just you could have no followers and post get a viral video. Like that's all I'm doing. Every time I'm posting something about my book, I'm just hoping it goes viral. Like it never does. So I'm like annoying the same like 20 people that always look and like comment, and I just feel so bad. But like my aim with every book post is for it to just like leave my followers to go wide, and it just doesn't. So, you know, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all it
That's
It
so
is. It's true.
real. But
It's
something
true.
that is not a crapshoot.
is.
Glorious book that comes out in a week's time.
Yeah.
Can you tell us, our listeners, a little bit about it?
So I've kind of nailed down my pitch a little bit, but it's not very good. But it's a historical romantasy set in Gilded Age Manhattan. It's well, that's not a good pitch.
Okay, I can
I
delete it.
lost it.
I can
Yeah,
delete it and
delete.
start
I'm
again.
trying to like read what I post on social media, like in my head. Set in Gilded Age Manhattan with Irish mythology. I could go into more detail, but some people say that the pitch I've been using is a spoiler, but it kind of is, but I think it's better knowing that information going in, with the Irish goddess. Um,
Yeah.
that's kind of, I feel like not a secret, but main character is an Irish goddess with amnesia. I've never been shy about that. But I guess there's some people that haven't seen my social media posts and they're like, wait, this is a spoiler. Like
Well,
when they read the and they check out the market, they're like, that was a spoiler. And I'm like, well, I wanted you to know.
yeah, surprise. It's not a surprise. Okay,
No.
that leads like perfectly into our next question, which is like, is there anything you wish readers knew before they even picked up your book?
Yes, I desperately want them to know that it is more of like a historical romance with fantasy elements versus a romantasy. I am like there's definitely expectations with even though romantasy like it doesn't have like a strict definition and like it's whatever anyone wants it to be.
Mm.
Um, I think people think there's going to be a lot more fantasy in my book from the blur. Like even though the pitch is like exactly what my book is, like the one that's on the back cover, if you can look at it from a different, like I look at it, I'm like, oh, this is what's happening in the book, but that gives you leads to a lot of expectations that there's more fantasy and there's gods roaming around New York City, and like, well, technically that's true. It's not the way that you think. Like the fantasy part is like it's hidden beneath, it's with the lost memories. So it's more. I just want them to know it's not a heavy fantasy book. It's more of a historical. It's Bridgerton vibes, plus some Irish mythology.
It's
Yeah.
so
It's
funny.
good. That's all they need to know. It's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But I find it so funny that people go into reading books with all these expectations because unless it's by like an author that you're used to and they always write the same exact way, like, isn't part of the adventure being like, what's this author going to do with this? You know, what's going to
Yeah.
actually be inside this cover? Like, I feel like that's half of the fun, like discovering a new voice, discovering this new journey. And like kind of going into it with all these preconceived things you expect to happen kind of sucks the joy out of it anyway.
I know. That's how I approach books too. I don't have like something set, but I guess maybe so many romantic books have been pumped out as of late that they're starting to look a little like there's a formula for them. And like my book just does not fit that, like whatever. But then, marketing it as a historical romance, I'm going to lose a lot of people that think that they don't like historical romance, but they just don't know that they love it.
Mm.
Like I see a ton of comments. They're like, "Oh, I've never read something like this before," and I'm like, "If I told you it was historical romance, yeah, I know you never would have picked it up." But they hear the fantasy element, so they're like, "Okay, let's try it." But yeah, I do think, yeah, people go in with some ideas of what to expect, and then when those needs are not met, I
Mm.
just don't want it to disappoint anyone.
Yeah. Well, they shouldn't be. How dare they? Because it's
Yeah.
so good. I've been in love with this book for so many years, and so it's so awesome to see it. Like when I got my copy,
Yeah,
I was like, I got emotional because it's so beautiful. The
thank you.
cover's
The cover really,
gorgeous.
yeah, the artist did an amazing job with the cover. It's
Yeah.
stunning.
And like
So
in person, and I'd imagine the hardback is even prettier, because it's a little different. But like the color scheme, everything, I was just in physical form, it's so gorgeous. And my nails match, so I think it was just
yes,
like
I know.
meant to be.
Yeah, it was a sign. You needed to be that color. You manifested that in the mail.
Yes. Are you getting your nails done for your
Of
big
course.
events?
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely make sure that they match my cover.
That's good. Okay, so you're going to LA next, is it next weekend or the weekend after?
I'm gonna be in LA on the 16th and the 7th. So I'm actually stopping in I'm flying into San Diego because I'm going to Mysterious Galaxy
Yeah.
to sign books. It didn't work out with the timing for like an event there, but I'm gonna go and sign some stock there, and then I'm going to LA to go to Ripped Bodice and then Sunny's Bookshop the next day. So it's just a quick trip, but
That's
I
so
haven't
awesome.
been really excited.
Ah, I'm so excited. I wish I could freaking go. I'm going to LA literally the weekend after you for an
Oh,
event. So, but someday we'll cross paths and do something. I'm desperate to head over to the East Coast, so it's gonna
Yes,
happen.
whenever you're ready, let me
Yeah.
know.
Are you doing any events like home events? Like,
Yeah, so I'm doing one in Katona, New York. It's just like a small town, like it's
mm.
localish. I don't have anything like super immediate near me, but yeah, so I'm going there to do a signing on the 12th on Saturday. So that's going to be like my first launch event. But I think like on the 8th, like when it actually comes out, I'll probably go to a few stores. Like I've talked to a few stores already who said I can come in and sign things. So I'm going to go do that. I'm just going to
oh
go
my
see if it's
God.
on the shelves. I'm going to check beforehand though to make sure it is actually in stock. Don't want to show up and it's not there.
Mm.
Because who knew
Yeah,
that was a thing? I did
I,
not know that.
I know. I know.
Like
And
I
it's so
saw it like
freaking terrible.
yeah, and like I'm not with the big five, but I have the distribution. But um seeing it in the Discord, like, it's just not a guarantee. I thought being big five meant guaranteed bookstores, but there's just so much that you don't know about publishing. Like it's
Mm.
crazy the way the
It's
books are
crazy.
stocked. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so weird. And there is no guarantee. Like, unless
No.
you're probably, I guess, like obviously the big front of the
The
publishing
lead,
house. But yeah, it's like a crapshoot again, just like
Mm.
publishing.
everything, everything. Yeah, we're absolutely crazy to have signed up for publishing to be.
Literally.
Is what
What
we
do
want
you,
to do.
yeah. What do you think the hardest part has been so far? Do you think it's been like that whole query journey? Like that was pretty brutal, or is it something else?
So yeah, I think leaving my first agent was probably the hardest and scariest thing. But then also just like the waiting is really hard. And that doesn't stop. Like the waiting is just, you're either waiting to hear from an agent or now I'm just waiting for like, and hoping for random good news in my inbox. You know what I mean? Like it's just always checking my email. So like, yeah, being patient is one of the hardest things with
Yeah.
publishing.
I
So
think you posted about this, I want to say, Kelsie, and I know Melanie's talked about this before too, but like the trauma of like getting the Gmail notification or the email notification, like the chills that go through your body every time you hear the ping is so
yes,
real.
yeah, it's crazy. Like if I see a name in this, it could be an email like completely unrelated, like for my job, it's like someone's name. So yeah, that makes sense. I'd see it. If I see a name, I'm conditioned to think it's like a response from a literary agent. And if I see QU, I'm like, and then I'm like, wait, I'm not querying. It really is
Literally
like
triggered every time. I
hard.
agree though, the waiting is so brutal. There's just so many parts where you're just waiting in this like deep silence and you just have to like, I don't know, talk yourself through it.
I know. It's just like, yeah, like every day, it's like you pretend like when an email comes, you're like, no, like I know that's not like a publishing one, but then like secretly you're hoping it's a publishing email. Like it's just like torture. It really is.
Yeah,
It's
I don't know why we did this to ourselves, but here we are. We're still at it. What has been the best part of your journey so far?
I think getting like knowing that my book is in like readers' hands, like seeing like people tagging me and like so far it's only been nice things. But like seeing people hold the book, I'm like, wait, that's my book. Like it's actually happening. That and like finishing it because I was typing the end on the God's Time Forgot, like getting like the copy edits or was it copy edits? Past pages. I'm like, there is nothing else I can do to this book. Like,
Mm.
she's done. Get her out of here. Like, we're moving on. But yeah, that was pretty like I teared up when I saw the past. I'm like, wow, like there's no more revising. Like this bitch is done. I
10
was so
years
excited.
later, 10 years later, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, does it ever feel real? Is-
No, it doesn't. Like I'm in denial that something's happening next week. It's just gonna be any other day, maybe. I don't know.
As
It's
long
gonna
as
be
you're treating
glorious.
yourself, like get yourself some what are those big old cinnamon rolls? I always see you with waffles. Like go out and get some like good brunch.
Something yummy. But I feel like I'm always like coming up with excuses to treat myself.
Well,
So
you
I don't
deserve it.
Yeah, it sounds like you've earned it. Like, honestly, I'm not about all of this like suffering for decades and giving ourselves one day of grace. Let's flip the script. Let's give ourselves like
like,
lots of sleep-ins, all
yeah,
the cinnamon rolls, and like take yourself,
that's,
book in like a massage and a facial or something. I
that's
think you're,
actually a good idea. I need one of those.
yes, you're in your treat yourself era because, girl, you've suffered. You know?
I know, my God. Yeah, like thinking back on like everything I shared about the querying journey, I'm like, wow. Like sometimes I forget that it happened, but like that was all. I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
know I was ever. That was the pits of despair. I didn't know I was ever climbing out,
Yeah,
but we
like you
did.
talk about it now from a place of like you've been through that and it's obviously made you like an amazing,
Yeah,
powerful person. But when you're in that shit, like you feel like you're drowning and like I guess that's why it's so important to share it. And I know like we're always told not to like linger in the like don't dwell in the past, which is true. But I actually realized lately sometimes giving yourself permission to reflect from a place of
yeah,
like, whoa, look at what I
yeah,
went through.
yes,
If you never do that, you can't remember like what a fucking badass you are, that you're still
yeah. That's
here,
true.
that you're still standing like after everything you went through. Like, damn, book in 5 facials, honestly, like whatever you can,
Every
treat
day a
treat
facial.
yourself in every way because yeah, like it's a lot. It's a lot.
Hell yes. Yes, you let like spite, delusion, stubbornness, like tenacity. You were doing the things. And again, here we are like getting ready to celebrate your fucking book is about to be published. Like we're here. So well done. Way to
The money
be freaking
girl.
stubborn.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, seriously, just like pure stubborn delusion is what got me here. That's
Mm.
I think
all.
all authors need it. There's no other way to survive. Like
No, yeah,
Melanie said when we started, like, yes, we obviously love writing. That's why we started. But there's got to be something that keeps us going. There's got to be
Mm.
that fire. Otherwise, it's
yeah.
so easy to stop.
It's like, and I don't even like, I don't fault a single person that stops because
Yeah.
it's, like the people that, have queried a book for however long and then they're like, oh, I can't do it anymore. Like, I get it. Like, I don't think it's normal that we're okay to continue to try. Like, there's got to be something like something amiss to be like willing to subject ourselves to like repeated torture.
Mm.
Yeah,
Because
abuse.
it
It's
doesn't end.
true.
You get an agent, it doesn't end. It just probably gets worse in a different
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Yes. So encouraging. We're
Yeah.
so happy to be here, to be authors, to be doing this thing. Okay, I want to ask like our favorite question, which is looking back at all you've accomplished, what advice would you give a younger version of yourself before you started this journey?
I thought I answered that one. Now I can't remember. I like wrote it down in my notes app. What would I tell my younger self? I think I would, obviously it's something you have to learn. Like I had to go through it, but I think I would have learned to like stick up for myself earlier. Like maybe that, like to not allow that power imbalance to like to believe that I'm the author, like I'm bringing something to the table. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be like this one-sided thing. Like I have worth as an author. I'm allowed to speak up for myself. I do wish I had more of a backbone, but at the time I didn't know. I didn't have any people to tell me that that this a lot that I kept to myself because I thought was normal, you
Mm.
Hmm.
know. But so yeah, I wish I had trusted my gut a little bit more. Um,
Mm. That's
Trusting the because it was there on the phone call, but I just ignored it. So yeah, I think I wish I would have trusted my gut twice. The second
yeah.
agent too, but that was different.
That's good. That's such good advice, honestly. And even like after you get, you get the agent and then you go on sub or whatever and you get the editors and you're part of a publishing house, you still have to be able to be your own advocate because so many times, most often than not, you're kind of lost in the mix, in the sea of other writers. And so you have to learn to go into battle for yourself.
Yeah,
Mm.
and not just assume someone's going to like that, like no one else cares about your book as much as you do. So like don't assume somebody's thinking about not saying this in a negative way, like to anyone, but like don't assume they're thinking about you. Like you have to think
Yeah.
of it like they have so much other stuff going on. So like if there's something that's not happening that you would like to happen or you want to have, ask a question about it, ask. Don't wait for someone else because they might never bring it up. And it's nothing against you. They just have a lot on their plate. Like notoriously everyone in publishing is swamped. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, just speak up for yourself, basically.
Yeah, you don't lose anything asking the question. I think that's such great advice because a lot of times when I've had that like gut feeling and I ignored it, that's exactly it. Like sometimes it's literally been something slipped like everyone is notoriously overloaded. That's
Yeah.
facts. And if we
Yeah.
as authors feel it, imagine agents, imagine editors, like so I think that's such valuable advice. Just
Yeah. And like the
ask.
worst thing they say is no,
Yeah.
that but imagine you didn't ask and they're like, oh, had you just brought that up to me? Like I totally forgot. I could have given you 50 more arcs or something. You know what I mean? Like 50 more physical copies. Like I don't know it, the silliest things, but
Mm,
if you don't ask, the answer is always no. Very cliche, but it's true.
It's the
mm.
truth. It's it. Well, Kelsie, thank you for coming on here. This has been so
Fun.
great. I know our listeners are going to love this episode.
Yes.
There's so many like great things to learn from, and just to hear your story is so encouraging. Congratulations. Like,
Thanks for having me on. This has been amazing. I had so much fun. You guys are great.
no, you're
You're
great.
amazing. I'm so glad that we can do something small to cheer for you. And even like whether it moves the needle or not, I always like to imagine that it is, like it's moving something.
No, it doesn't have to move a lot. Like just this little bit
Yeah.
of like encouragement. Like, I don't care if like, so I was on a different podcast the other day and I saw a comment. One person was just like, oh my God, I wanted to hear their story, like, or Kelsey's story. I've heard tidbits before. And I was just like, oh, it made my day. Like, I don't need any needles swinging. Like, I'm okay. Like, I'm good with just those little bits of nuggets of joy. Like, it does really like makes me happy.
Yeah.
Yes. You hear that, listeners? Slide into Kelsey's DMs, get on her comments, and give her all the encouragement and love because she deserves it.
She's
You
so
really, really
needy.
do. She's so needy. She needs this. Everybody, give her love.
No, but yeah, this has been great. Thank you guys so much.
No, thank you. Have an amazing week. Like, not relax because that's not happening, but take care of yourself and treat yourself every single damn day.
Thank you so much. I will. I'm definitely going to get a massage and a facial.